Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports, the local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Torey Lovullo was a rock star in the postseason run of 2023. Today, he's sitting on a powder keg, a manager with a digital pitchfork mob attacking him after every bad loss. Fans do not like the prescribed days off policy, and I don't blame them. I'm at the front of that line, but those decisions come from way over his head. Fans don't like how he manages the bullpen, even though he's not the one throwing any of the pitches, and fans do not like how soft he sounds during post-game press conferences where he gushes with pride after the smallest of victories, where he will not throw any of his players under the bus. Yet those in the know swear Lovullo is different behind closed clubhouse doors, which means Lovullo is taking a lot of bullets for a lot of people. And that means a lot of his players should reward his unflinching loyalty to them by playing with more consistent spark and competitive urgency, starting with Zach Gallen. Now, 4 times in franchise history, the Diamondbacks have scored 11 or more runs and still lost the game. Incredibly, 3 of those games have occurred this season, and we're not even until the month of June. And yeah, it's shaping up to be one of those years, one of those screwball seasons that test the resilience of the team and the patience of the fan base. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
You know, their starting pitcher, is, in our opinion, is not tested, but probably has the best stuff on any of their starters. So, you know, you're worried about what that combination looks like. And, you know, you're overall worried about this team. They got a new manager. We don't know where they're going to be firing from. It's a little unnerving because things could be totally changed. And I think yesterday they went out there and just played free and easy with zero care. So you're wondering what their starting pitcher is going to look like too.
That's Torey Lovullo after the series wrapped up yesterday. Diamondbacks win the finale 1-0 over the Rockies, but also making reference to the Saturday game and kind of the uncertain nature of the Colorado Rockies. We talked about it going into the series, the importance of this series to kind of flex your muscles, prove your dominance over a team that's really, really struggling and is going to struggle all season long. Make no mistake about it. And that didn't happen. And use of the term free and easy, that the Rockies played free and easy on Saturday, but
you know what that sounded like to me?
There's a reason why that is because Zach Gallen set the tone for them to get comfortable.
What that sounded like to me, that Torey Lovullo soundbite, that sounded like Devin Booker talking about how depleted teams are fired up because young guys get to play. You never get. Remember that? You remember that whole thing? That's what that sounded like to me. Like, wow, that team really, really stinks out loud, but man, they play free and easy. So they're dangerous. Look, this is really, let's hover around the Torey Lovullo angle for a minute, because Torey Lovullo as a manager has been here a long time, right? And he's still underwater. His career record, he's sub 500. Rarely will you get a manager with those kind of numbers get the kind of longevity that he's had in Arizona. So that in and of itself, I think he's been here a long time. And you know how sports fans are with give me something new, especially when it comes to managers, right? But I do think if you diagnose what you should be mad at Torey Lovullo about, there needs to be some context, because we know now that there's a medical staff of 20-plus people that sort of kind of govern a player's availability. And this is part of what they do. And most baseball operations now, they're run through a blend of analytics and stuff like that. And the manager is not what he used to be. A baseball manager in 2025 is not some overweight dude sitting in the dugout managing by gut, right? Isn't that the whole thing about, I listen to my gut? Yeah.
It's not 1978
It's not,
anymore.
right, it's not 1978 anymore. So there's a lot of collaboration, and there's also a lot of, and collaboration at times gets very close to coddling, in my opinion.
It's certainly, I get that. And when things are not going according to plan, it certainly comes off that way. And we touched on the Diamondbacks. It's not universal, but there is a lot of Diamondbacks fans that are throwing their hands up, and they blame Torey Lovullo for everything. They want him gone, hell or high water, because of the mentality that he has. But you're asking a guy now in his what? 8th year?
No. He's in year 9 now. Next year will be year 10. Let me double check that. Jared, why don't you check that?
His first year was 2017. So he's well into his. This is year.
Yeah, this is year 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're asking a guy to change his mentality.
Yeah.
At this point,
right? No, it's not going to happen. But again, and I do know this because there are times when Torey in post-game press conferences, and he's great with the media. So I've got to be real careful how I say this because I don't want him changing. He's very giving for the most part, and he's very honest, and he doesn't look down on the media. He treats the media as equals.
Yes.
And that's refreshing because a lot of people in professional sports, they don't do that anymore. They don't afford us that courtesy anymore. So, but there are times like Saturday when Torey described the Rockies as a team that can really bash that baseball. You're talking about one of the worst offenses in Major League Baseball. So, and it's stuff like that comes out of his mouth that makes people angry.
Yeah, but he's far from the only coach or manager that makes comments like that. There's usually a tip of the cap. Hey, that's a good team over there.
Right.
How many times have you heard that and go, no, it's not? Or it really happens in the lead up to an NFL game.
Yeah.
It's a matchup of the 13-0 Kansas City Chiefs and the 0-13 Vegas Raiders.
That team over there is better than they look.
We know they're dangerous over there.
Or even worse in college football.
Yeah.
When Alabama plays like Central Gudger State.
Central Gudger State.
And they're like, oh, well, that's a hell of a team. We better be ready.
They put their pants on one leg at a time, too. So, listen, so a lot of this Torey Lovullo stuff, it's striking to me because when you date back to how much the Valley he was a breakout star during that postseason of 2023. Him and Corey Seager, they were the breakout stars of that postseason.
Unfortunately, only one of them was associated with the Diamondbacks in that series. The other thing I wanted to touch on that we touched on last week, and I gave thoughts on, the Jordan Lawler experiment and how that's going. And Jordan Lawler's only been in the starting lineup for 2 games. He's got 8 at-bats so far since being recalled. He struck out 5 times. And, again, looks just overmatched at the plate because the scouting report is out. He can't hit breaking balls. And so far, in the 2 games that he started, he's seen 26 pitches, 21 of which have been breaking balls. And I asked the question, is this the right time to be experimenting with a player that's very important to your future? Now, I realize, again, there's not a ready-made everyday position for Jordan Lawler right now. They have the luxury of trying to sprinkle him in at 3 different positions. The offense, he made an unbelievable play at second base on a play that turned out to be an infield single, but he made it close at second base with a diving stop on the outfield grass. But the offense is the concern. And nothing happened over the weekend in that game on Saturday night against Colorado to make me feel better about his comfort level at the plate right now.
Yeah, he just, for a guy that was just lighting it up in the minors, he just still doesn't look like he thinks he belongs.
At the plate.
Yeah.
But they're still, they're not. Don't you have to just play him?
If there's a big hole in a swing?
I understand that, but like like Vinny was saying, what's the point of bringing him up to start every other game or 1 out of 3 games?
That's why I didn't quite get the timing of it. And I know there's excitement, or there's also the acknowledgement of there's nothing else he can do at the AAA level. But
for a player,
your concern is not the AAA level.
No.
Your concern is about the big league level and the development of the player.
Yeah. Well,
and he bounced back from a really difficult year and did great things at Reno, but man.
He's struggling. Yep. I know.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Murata. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.